Hey Rose. So with a sequence, remember our n represents the number of terms or the nth term. So I think of a as the amount. The amount for the nth term equals the amount a, the amount of the first term, plus whatever your rate is. And so they've been using d for difference, the difference in the terms, difference, rate, slope. Whoa, I don't know why I put an R there. Slope. But you're building off of the first term. So you have to take the number of terms minus 1. So if you wanted the third term, like if we check this math, if, we know the third term is 54. So let's see if that actually happens. Let's see what we get when we take the amount for the first term, which is 40, plus, well, what's the difference going from each term? The increase or the slope is 7, so it's plus 7 times. Now, if we want the third term, we have to take, that would be n equals 3. We need to take 3 minus 1. And so really we're making 2 jumps because 3 minus 1 is 2. I should have written this down here. That was silly. Anyway, I actually do that little subtraction in there. You get 2. And that makes sense because you're making 1, 2 jumps to get to the third term. So from the 40, you are adding 7 once and twice. And so you get 40 plus 14, which is 54. So it works out. You don't actually have to, this is what you have to be able to do, and then you can just shove it in your calculator. But it's kind of nice to believe or understand why this formula works the way it does. And so you were right on track with your answer here for number 5. The only difference is, and maybe you didn't see the difference, is right there. This minus sign would mean that you're decreasing by 7 every time as you progress through the terms. We're actually increasing by 7, so we need that plus sign. So that's why it's this option right here. Let's use that formula to proceed with the other ones. It's funny that they actually kind of put the formula question last, and I'm going to use that formula question to do some of these other ones. So the seats at a local baseball stadium are arranged so that each row has 5 more seats than the row below it. So that's our difference or slope or rate, d equals 5. If there are 4 seats in the first row, so I could say, if I can make a little table here, the number for the number 1 row, the value is going to be 5. Oh, not 5. Just kidding. We'll come back. For the first row, let me mark the text here. There are 4 seats in the first row. So our a sub n value there is 4. Alrighty. So what do we need to do? We need to use that formula. So a sub n equals a sub 1 plus the difference times n minus 1. So our answer will be 4. There's 4 seats in the first row. Plus we're adding 5 seats for every row, but don't count the first row again. So you take n minus 1, and the n, the number of rows that we're talking about is row 23. So you really have to add 5 22 times because there's 22 more rows, and you're increasing 5 every time, and you tack that onto the amount from the first row. So that's how you got 114. So you were right on. Oh, that's how you would get 114. Yeah, and the difference there is why 114 is right is because your first row doesn't have 5, it has 4. And so 115 I'm guessing you got because, well, maybe you took 5 times 23, but that would mean the first row again has 5 and it only has 4. And that's why you always want to have, because sometimes your starting amount is different. While the rate of increase is always going to be the same in these sequences, like the difference is always going to be 5, your starting amount might not be 5. It could be 4, it could be a negative number. You can start with anything, really. Here you got this one right, but maybe you want to see how you got it right. So let's use our formula again. A sub n equals a sub 1 plus our difference times the number of terms, but don't count the first term here. So take n, meaning the number of terms, minus 1. What we're looking for here is the 35th term. Maybe I should define the variables better. So a sub 1 is negative 7. Our difference, we don't actually know yet, but we can calculate it. And what we're looking for is the 35th term. So we're looking for a sub 35. We know our first term is negative 7. We know we're looking for the 35th term. What we don't know right now is the difference. And so you can really think of this as slope. Like your first term is negative 7. Your 18th term is 95. So over, so you take 95 minus negative 7. If you think this is a temperature change, you know, we're going from 95 degrees to negative 7. Oof, duh, that's a huge change. That's 102 degrees difference. And maybe that happened. Maybe this is number of days. I'm just making something up. Maybe the 1 and the 18 is the number of days. So that would happen over 17 days. And so our rate per day, our change per day in degrees is 6. So D equals 6. So, and again, you can just shove this right into the calculator if you'd like, for sure. But if you want it to make more sense, to that negative 7 degrees, that stinking cold first day, you're adding 6 degrees for 34 days. So we're projecting even further. We were given the first day, the 18th day. We're looking for the 35th day, which would mean 34 more days of adding 6 degrees. I don't know, 100 and, nope, that'd be 204. Then you minus 7. So you get 197. Yeah, 197. So that's why your answer that you selected was right. If you want to